May your interest be our interest, and our people's interest be the interest. You forgive us where we have failed you, where we've fallen short of your glory. Accept us this morning according to your will. And let us say the Lord's Prayer together.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive them who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and power, and glory, forever and ever. Amen. Clerk Haddad, any petitions, notices? Honorable members, question time. The Honorable Governor for Western Highlands.
Thank you, the Acting Speaker. Thank you, all the leaders, the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and ministers, governors, and everybody in the public gallery. I would like to ask a question that is very important for the local level governments. I would like to ask this question to the Intergovernment Relations Minister. We have our local level government elections just around the corner, and I believe this is one of the last parliament sittings before the LLG elections. And there's media has been released, Minister, that sometimes media are saying that the elections of councillors, presidents will be done by the people. And we governors in lay, in our governors conference, we said elections should be done by the councillors, and others said elections should be done by the people. But I am, as you all know, I am one of the longest serving councillors and presidents for Mount Agen and Western Highlands Province. If we let the people vote for the councillors, presidents, then we are taking the power from the councillors away. It's just like the Prime Minister, our Prime Minister will be elected by the people, and we members coming into Parliament, the Prime Minister will have no respect for us. It's just like a power we are trying to take away from our councillors, which is not good at all for local level governments. And I can talk from experience. So, Minister, what is your final decision? And the NSC, are we, the councillors are going to elect the president, or the people are going to elect the president? Can you tell this House and also the people of Papua New Guinea and the media can take note of that? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Intergovernment Relations.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Let me also recognize our brothers on the other side this morning. Secondly, whatever I'm going to present, it will be all of Papua New Guinea to take note of, because this is an important issue. And I'd like to, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to thank the Honourable Governor for Western Highlands for raising this very important question so our people are informed and our members are also inform on the floor of Parliament, because there's so much confusion going on. On the 13th of January 2024, I've written to Electoral Commission, or Electoral Commissioner, indicating the dates of local level government elections. So, Milag Tok Sabelo, or Line Milo Papua New Guinea, or Papa, or Mama who said Tintin Law, Golo, coming election, please take note of the dates. So me reading this word, the dates in Uplaw, Line Law, rural communities of Papua New Guinea can take note of and get themselves prepared. So the dates for LNG election is as follows. Issue of writs is Thursday, 27th of June. B, or second, nomination closes on Wednesday, 3rd of July. That's 4 p.m., 3rd of July. Polling starts Saturday, 24th of August. Polling ends February 6th. Polling ends Friday, 6th of September. Sorry, pardon me. And the return of writs on or before Thursday, 27th of September. These dates have already been put out in the press. Those are final dates in which Electoral Commission will conduct coming LLG elections. Second issue that Governor has raised, a very important and pertinent issue, and that is the methods, Mr. Acting Speaker. There are two methods of electing presidents. One is elected by the ward members. I think that has been the practice for since 2019 up until now. But earlier than that, 2012 onward, it was practiced at that time that people elect the presidents. Coming back to the issue that Governor has raised, even up until now, there's still confusion, mainly because of where the person who is making that complaint to me and their experience. Some are indicating that the best option is to have ward members electing the presidents. And others are indicating that it should be given to the people to elect the presidents. I've already explained earlier in the government caucus, and I think last year, that there are expense involved in these two options. And because of that ongoing issues, the issue was discussed by Governors' Conference last October. Governors' Conference then decided, now let me correct what Governor Western Highlands has indicated, that Governors decided that the matter be given back to provincial governments. That's the official resolution. So each provincial government would debate, because provincial government consists of both LLG as well as open members. And I think it's a good place for each provincial government to decide as to how they want to elect their presidents. So that was the decision. The decision was to give it to each provincial government to submit their position to my office. And having received all the indication through the PEC, then I'll take the matter up to NEC. And from there, then we can then advise the Governor General to indicate which option is the best option to look at. Well, as I said, no option is the best option, but at least majority decides. So basically, that's what it is. The issue was given back to provincial government to indicate to my office which option they want to look at. And having looked at all the requests that come in, then we'll look at which option is favored by provincial governments. And that is something that we'll then present to Cabinet. Now, Cabinet is a final vetting body. So again, it will be subject to Cabinet's final decision before Governor General gives that okay. I hope that clears the matter. But having the opportunity too, Mr. Acting Speaker, let me also indicate, maybe going away from the issue that has been raised, but I want to indicate to the ward members, particularly in relation to their salaries. I want to indicate to ward members all over Papua New Guinea that they are now put on Alaska payroll. So that matter has been finalized between my office as well as DPM and, of course, Treasury. But at the same time, government is looking at how we can enable ward members to perform their duties, not only receiving their salaries. Well, in the past, they were not receiving salaries. They were receiving a bit of allowances, but this time they are put on salaries, so they can perform the duties of government representative on the ground. Mr. Acting Speaker, allow me to also discuss issues about LNG election because it's relevant. And this is in relation to separation of LNG election with national election. Currently, my department is submitting to NEC amendment to Section 34. This will enable the LNG election to be conducted 18 months after national election. As experience has already shown to us that every time after national election, at a return by law, at a return of REITs, or 3 months after return of REITs, LNG election was supposed to be conducted. But because of the fact that resource has been scarce and limited, having conducted very expensive elections in the past, this has stopped the LNG election to be conducted, which is the case today. So by separation of 18 months, the government can have sufficient revenue to conduct proper election, or LNG election. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
We have a supplementary. Governor for Manus.
Thank you. Supplementary question to the Minister also. Minister, you talk about finish also. Which provincial government are only given?
Thinking long all, the one option by you see, the voting all councillors, and then NEC by single NEC, NEC by deciding which option to by me behind him. Thinking me also me like putting you look long. Why don't you me look also suppose this provincial government like him this option where people by mark him. Now this provincial government will like him councillors in mark him. Why don't you me like him equal thinking long all you endorse him na NEC endorse him if you are in thinking long all go two options rather than you post him equal one option. Thank you.
The Honourable Minister for Intergovernment Relations.
Thank you, Acting Speaker, and thank you, Governor, for Manus. Very good suggesting, there are also cost factors involved. I think I've already explained that in our government caucus last year. Election of presidents by people is similar to conducting election of regional members in the national election. And it's when you look at council president, we have about 300 different LLGs, and you're looking at 300 different presidents to be elected in. So this means that it requires huge resources. I just want to make that point so that you are aware of, mindful of this factor before we can consider this option. This option also means that when you elect a president by people, he's just like a mini MP, open member. You can only change him at the next election, unless we make provisions to allow for intervention to occur if a council president is misbehaving in his office. Otherwise, as it is now, it has that option or that particular problem that is associated with the president being elected by people. But that's a choice for each provincial government to make. But I've taken note of what you have said. What we can do, depending on requests of provincial governments, we can also submit that option with the other option to the cabinet to make a decision. Okay, let me clarify properly. When I mentioned that the provincial government make their recommendations, so they go along these two options. Maybe we have 22 provincial government. 50% of them will recommend election by the people, or another 50% recommend election by the ward members. Okay, we make that recommendation to the cabinet to make that decision. That's one option. One option, as Governor Manus has said. Then we look at what each provincial government is recommending, and maybe that's an option that we can recommend, but that's subject to eventually to NEC to make a decision based on financial resources that are entailed in terms of conducting elections. So yeah, it's not just simple issue of deciding what option to decide, but also resource factor involved when we are conducting 330 different council presidents throughout Papua New Guinea. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Governor for West New Britain.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
Question below me, like asking Minister below State Enterprises. Mr. Acting Speaker, being a former state-owned enterprise minister and being a minister responsible for initiating SOE reforms and thereby securing $500 million support from Asian Development Bank, mainly based on some few important factors, that merit-based appointments, and also to bring efficiency into the operations of company. Acting Speaker, where are we at our semi-privatization exercise, as we know that the services of all our utility companies are deteriorating? The blackouts are unbearable. The travel with Air Niugini is very challenging. So, Mr. Acting Speaker, are we still continue to give excuse as we try to avoid fire sale? This word fire sale, time me minister yet, na mi wogla harim, mi pla stop him algata something, slow him down. So, by giving this excuse, we continue to deteriorate service, and we are failing to provide that much needed service to our people. Mr. Acting Speaker, me like Savetu also now tupla balus below yumi 767 yumi go underneath low, go low. Heavy maintenance na yumi work low leasing. Enough yumi look low. Leasing on proper 767 or 787, since you may order in finish Templar 787. Enough you may leasing 787, even if it is expensive, so that we can give that reliability, tool of safety. Mr. Acting Speaker, you put yourself in the shoes of people who needs to, attend appointments, who needs to, attend to medical emergencies, who needs to bring some dead bodies from Singapore, wherever. So how do you feel when you miss 2 or 3, continuous nights keeping dead bodies or with children and with failing to meet an appointment? And how do we also address these blackout issues in view of the issue for location agreement? They are terminating the aviation fuel supply agreement with Air Niugini, and that termination start to be effective from 15 May 2024. So how is it going to affect our ability to supply fuel, especially aviation fuel, to our airline? And also, how are we strategizing, to address that fuel supply to our PNG Power? And they've in fact reduced the credit terms. So these are, major challenges right now in front of us. So, Acting Speaker, the only solution is to really partner with the industry experts and semi-privatizing without fear of, losing. What is the point of, we lose money every year, hundreds of millions of kina? Rather, the situation can change immediately, to become a positive cash flow by semi-privatizing some of these, utility companies. Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
The Honourable Minister for State.
Acting Speaker, I want to thank the Governor for Western Britain for this very important question. The Governor knows what the issues are, having been a former Minister himself, and I want to thank him for that. And I also want to give him credit for citing the ADB-led SOE reform program, which resulted in a significant amount of money being given to the government of Papua New Guinea. Mr. Acting Speaker, the good governor has asked many questions, starting with how, about 7 of ours. So I want to request him to put those questions in writing, and I think that people of our country deserve to know at least some answers from myself and from this government in relation to how important SOE is. So I want to ask him to put all of those questions in writing so that I can respond in Parliament and perhaps make a ministerial statement. But in a nutshell, I can give 3 examples of companies which are struggling, as all of us know, starting with Air Niugini. And as all of you know, we've, with the approval of this government, gone past the point of organizing or requesting financing to purchase 11 planes from Airbus. They are scheduled to arrive, first ones starting next year. I unfortunately cannot provide immediate answers and immediate solutions to the problems, but in the long term, we do see some solutions, and starting with the replacement of our very aging planes. As we all know, F-100s and F-70s, the aircraft manufacturing company has ceased producing them starting in 2019. So like all the other airline companies, we are looking at replacing them. With the case of the issue of whether we can lease 767s and 737s, it depends on the availability of those kind of planes in the aircraft market. It is in fact a depressed market for leasing and subleasing of aircraft. We have been looking at all the options. We also have to look at the cost factors, or those are being looked at, but we would prefer to lease 737s because we know that we will be purchasing 2 Dreamliners, the 737s that will come on during the fleet next year. So our preference is to lease any available 737, but the current market is such that, and I can inform the governor that there are no cheaper immediately available 737s compared to 767. So those are the challenges we are facing. Eventually, down the line, as we all know, governments are not good in running businesses. We will follow the trend that we are seeing in other countries, and we will go down the path of selling down Air Niugini. But our intention is to fix what we've got first.
instead of adopting the lazy way out and selling them as fire sales, to use the term used by our governor. The same situation is for PNG Power, but in the case of PNG Power, as you all know, this government, the Marabe Rosa government, has put its money where its mouth is, and it has already allocated 211 million kina. That money has been released. Most of the money is now being used to order the equipment that has been identified by many, many experts whom we have engaged. We've engaged about 5 different experts to help us turn our company around. And there's enough literature available for this company telling us what needs to be done. We know what can be done, and it's only a matter of time, together with the allocation of money, which we now have. And I can inform this Parliament that we have already spent 115 million kina ordering parts which are not here from overseas. And as we know, we, like other companies in this country, are experiencing forex issues. So once we're able to get those parts, we will be able to fix all the aging infrastructure that PNG Power has. In terms of the personnel that we have, if I can inform this House, we have realized that our own people are our worst enemies. We have entrusted them and put them in positions of responsibility in that company, and unfortunately, they have let us down. And we have now started looking offshore to bring the experts that we need to help turn our very important company around. The days of appointing cronies and appointing one-talks to our SOEs are long gone now. And as the good governor alluded to, as part of the ADB-led reform program, we've farmed out the important aspect of recruitment to overseas-based consultants who do not reside in this country, but they are offshore. So anyone who wants to apply for those important posts of the chairman and directors and even CEOs of our companies have to apply by email to the recruitment companies, and they go through a process. What the cabinet finally receives is a finally reformed product that comes to cabinet for appointment to those important positions. So we have changed those things around, and as they say, good things take time to come, and you will soon see the benefits of all the hard work that we are putting in now. So in the case of PNG Power, you will have realized that power to Port Moresby is full, it's fully energized. We have now power generating sources from Edebu, from Dirio, from New Power, and from our traditional sources at Sirinumu. So there is enough power now. What we need now is new infrastructure to replace the infrastructure, replacing the old transmission lines, transformers, and the connecting system here, together with new, more competent and committed people at PNG Power to help turn this company around. So once again, we now have the money. We know where the issues are. Soon you will have no issues. And I did indicate before Christmas that by Christmas there will be no power blackouts in Ley and Port Moresby, and that happened. There were no power blackouts. So we are quite determined to tick all the boxes that required to tick, and we will see that our SOEs then become companies that we will all be proud of. So to conclude, Mr. Assistant Acting Speaker, in the case of the question of whether we should sell all our SOEs, yes, it depends on time. Country that is really that bankrupt, such that we will go down the path of selling our SOEs. We have options available. We can either go, or we can either use the issue of partial privatization, or look at the Singaporean model. As you know, Lee Kuan Yew, because he was there for a longer period of time, he was able to bring in experts from other countries. He did not trust his own people. He brought in experts. He gave them time. He paid them well. He made sure that they delivered. And if you look at Singapore, Singapore has never sold its SOEs. They are gold mines, and they continue to deliver for the people. So we have those choices, and eventually all of us will be asked to make those very important decisions. It will not be a decision made by the government or myself as a minister. It will be a decision that will be made by our leaders in this House. Thank you, Mr. Assistant Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Bulolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
tingin people of Bulolo only this time on the side of the house. Before me start, Mila just wish him, New Year 20, my brother Level upside happy belated Valentine's Day. We must bring some love back into the house because I stay me too much. My question without notice, Mr. Acting Speaker, by Copenhagen Law, ex-minister. Before me asking me, like, thank you, Law, ex-minister, Law, visit him, district Law, without my knowledge, but at least I'm gonna, after I release my statement on the media on the Connect PMC. So. My Acting Speaker, yesterday we were taken through a very lengthy presentation by the minister on the Connect PNG program. While it was music to the government's ears, for some of us, it reaffirmed our concerns. And I hope the minister can answer my questions now without telling the House he will go and come back tomorrow with answers. On page 12, amigo Begenlo report asked. On page 12 of the minister's statement,
Honorable member for Bulolo, may I interrupt you on your question raised? If you are referring your question to the statement made by the minister yesterday, I would not allow for it because it is already on the motion for debate, which is yet to be debated. The statement has been not yet to be debated. That you cannot ask any question in related to that. Honorable member, sorry, you resume your seat. In more clarification on that, whatever is already, it's now on the motion notice paper. So whatever is already on the notice paper, you cannot ask a question related to that. Honorable Governor, I understand. Honorable member, I understand if you want to refrain from asking question on that and ask other question, I will allow for that. Honorable member.
Just a question here. I didn't ask the question yet. It's just around the bush, so I will get there.
Honorable member. I will listen to the question. If the question is related to what I have said earlier, I will make a ruling again.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Acting Speaker, my questions are as follows. Can the minister confirm how much of the 65 million kina has been disbursed and to which contractor? Number two, if there are backlogs in funding allocations.
Honorable member, that will still be applied to the statement made by the minister, so my apology that I will rule your question out. The honorable member for Meneama.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
Honorable members, the chair has made a decision of who to speak, so let the member for Meneama.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Look, Lord, people of Meneama, first time through me asking question without notice. Maki Mouse, people of Meneama, Maki Mouse, family. Clan me representing them, like passing bell, sorry, Blomibla, all people of Madam. The people lo usino bundi lo lusiwan plus strong la leader lo country em lo pacific la ber sore lo mi pla lo government lo mara peroso em plus strong la man we mi pla lusimen so lo lis plata mi da bring ber sore na so im sore lo mi pla people lo menyam ya. Thank you. One time this la question lo mi when no ga talk saver le mi la asking Prime Minister lo mi pla. And this question where he got one blah report, a Prime Minister, NEC been given one blah work law, a first time Minister law, petroleum law, this heavy law, Puma energy crisis law, country blah me blah.
Honorable member for Meneama, sorry for interrupting you. I was interfered by the clerk and I did not hear who you direct your question to.
The Prime Minister.
To the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Now me looking was in this energy crisis and we still stop yet, so me asking good Prime Minister Blomipla. This report and Mogim Sampla walk by him out. The Prime Minister too been talks away or send. He got Sampla money where I'm setting up this place, so in committee or State of Emergency Committee, or working walk by him out. Now, no by him, solution to this levy. Now, me like asking Prime Minister. Now, how much money go to this committee law or this State of Emergency law, by him walk, by him heavy blow, by him solution to this heavy wave stop the country blow energy crisis. This law will come up in this or no cut. So was Nipla by him heavy by him solution finish and country and so was Nipla by him solution finish not this money where committee been setting up them. Thank you.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. I want to appreciate the member for Minyama's question. The Puma issue has been ongoing since for some time now. In pursuit of finding permanent solution, Cabinet a while ago did approve, based on a submission of the then Energy Minister, approved 8 million kina support for a team to be put behind to ascertain exactly what are the issues that is behind the Puma saga. That I was advised that 2 million kina has been remitted. We are yet to receive a fullest report on the committee's work. Now that the former minister has left the government ranks, we have assembled Chief Secretary and his team to get to work, and since 2 weeks ago they have been pulling in central bank, the banks, and I want to appreciate BSP and Kina Bank and Central Bank for the understanding that this is not normal time. Puma has been since 2014. Puma has been the dominant market supplier of the petroleum products, especially the precarious situation where they are the only supplier to our airline industry. And so in that context, we've been trying our best to ramp up the investigation into what really happened. I want to indicate to this country I'm somewhat dismayed that despite 2 million kina paid to that committee, the report has not come forth as yet. 2 million kina may be small to some consultants, but it is a big amount of money to do work, especially when it is everyday work for those who are paid to do this work. And I've tasked the National Energy Authority, our Central Bank, our Chief Secretary. You don't need to ask for more money to do what is your everyday job. Sit down, get to work, and the team is working. They've asked Central Bank to produce the report that gives the black spot on Puma if it is a black spot. I want to indicate to our country that Central Bank has not yet come forth. And all of us should know by now, Central Bank operates at arm's length from the Treasury. Central Bank does not come directly under the control of the executive government. They are independent. That independence has been maintained by us thus far. But in the national interest, we've asked them that what is the black spot? What is the impropriety? What is the illegality of Puma's existence in our country? And that report has been worked upon. From a combined meeting we've had with Central Bank, Puma, Chief Secretary, the National Energy Authority, and myself and our Treasury team, Puma does continue to transact out of their operation base in Singapore. Singapore has not shut down their operations. They transact in Singapore to supply their clients elsewhere in the Pacific, including Papua New Guinea. Central Bank has been asked to come back to us with what is exactly the issue that made them cast a shadow of doubt over Puma, and what that made BSP and other banks hesitant to allow for the Puma's operational account with those commercial banks. Central Bank is in the process of furnishing to us that report, we've been asked to bring it ASAP. It has now been almost 3 years in the making that we've been running around in circle in as far as central bank's conclusion is concerned. They've been asked to go to Singapore and elsewhere where Puma is operated. If there is any impropriety, then certainly corresponding banks elsewhere, including corresponding reserve bank elsewhere, could establish those improprieties. And I want to assure this House that a long-term solution is being looked upon so that we are not overly reliant on one dominant supplier, as well as the short-term measures are being looked upon. I note that early today and in the last week or so, there have been ramped up signals that they reduce operations in the country. I want to also give assurance we have not isolated Puma out completely. We're working with them so that supply can be maintained. I thank BSP for extending the account in BSP. I appreciate central bank's intervention to the market to allow Kina Bank to continue on holding a greater level of forex to ensure fuel supply is supplied. I want to also give indication to our country, Air New Guinea under KCH, looking at also alternate fuel supply, and we work on alternate solutions for our country for the medium term and long term going forward. And I want to say 2 million kina has gone across to those who are supposed to do the job. I'm waiting for the report to come into our office to make some progress on matters that they see fit to be progressed upon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, what's your point of order?
I just want to correct that Prime Minister. Perhaps he's so busy and he forgets that we had already tabled a final report when I was still a minister. By law, a state of emergency under these sort of situations can only be for 30 days. When the state of emergency was declared, there was no funding. We immediately got to work, and so we had to use that Energy Authority's administrative funds. And we ran the emergency for
Honourable
30 days.
Member, I would not allow you to make a statement using the point of order. And also, Honourable Member, the Prime Minister have already summed up the question, answers to the question, which I cannot allow.
I can raise it at any point in time. What he said is that no final report was given. I'm saying it was given. And he also said funds were given and not properly accounted for. I'm trying to get to that too. So that's the point of order. Clarity needs to be given because these sort of situations cast innuendos on people. Not on just me, but on the Chief Secretary, on the Managing Director of National Energy Authority, and all the other good people who
Honourable Member, I will interrupt you. I would not allow you to make a longer statement on the point of order if you have raised so. Honourable Member, I resume your seat. The Honourable Member for North Fly.
Asking Blomino Gatok Sawa the Minister of Works. The interesting minister. Favorite for me because I just want to make a specific question relating to the East Department. And Mr. Acting Speaker, this is in regard to Teleforming Road. Teleforming Road always is catching the cats and the flowery of this country. And there is one fact that everyone must know.
Honourable Member, we have a point of order.
Yeah.
Acting Speaker, point of order, Blomigo. Let me ask him first question. Just the last Parliament session, the good Minister for Works, let me be explain, please. Lord, this is a question, Blomen. So this is my point of order.
Honourable Member, thank you for raising your concern. I will rule your point of order out of order. I'll let the Minister to. Honourable Member.
Thank you. Because I'm from a Ningrum Workman, I'm sorry. Anyway, Teleforming Road is a subject of interest for many of us. And for me particularly, North Fly in Western Province, it connects North Fly with the Pacific. And so the questions are as follows in this manner. Minister, when I asked you a few questions in the recent or last sitting, you answered some questions, but those questions were never fully disclosed. So I did all my research, and here I would like to present some information which you will have to explain to myself, the host Octeri Mining, plus the people of Western Province and PNG. Every time, Minister or Mr. Acting Speaker, when the Minister presents to this House, he has never been informing the House of where the funding comes from to fund his telephone road. He indicates in this House that the funding is coming from Connect PNG, the 5.6% all the time. But I want to inform this House and the people of North Fly and Western Province people that the telephone road funding comes from Octeri Tax Credit Scheme 100%. So these are the questions that I would like to ask the Minister. Minister, would you confirm that there has never been any funding from 5.6% of the Connect PNG that funds your telephone road? And you always boast about Connect PNG funding telephone road forever, where you should give credit due to the people of Western Province for funding the road. Never one record, you have never acknowledged that.
Honourable Member, ask your question.
So that's the first question. So that's the first question. The second question is, would the Minister confirm and deny that telephone road was 100% funded using OTML tax credit scheme, and the contractor is Ibwens, at the value of almost 236 million contract, 2 million contract, and 119.7 million paid so far, and we have a balance of 116.7 million yet to pay. Why I make that statement? Because, Mr. Acting Speaker, there are about five approved projects for people of Western Province sitting in queue, expecting the funding to come from tax credit scheme, including Daru Town Road, that's 68 million kina, where it comes from the Minister for Livestock, the Daru Town Rehabilitation. Yet the Minister sees fit to sit there not to raise to his Minister. So the issue is there are many road contractors or projects in Western Province, and yet no acknowledgement, no nothing. So other question is this, the final question. Minister, would you agree with me and say that your Connect PNG program is not the Connect PNG, it's a Con Act, that you work with conning people of North Fly, people of Western Province, talk of them, mixing money with Connect PNG in the fund and telephone road. I'm confirmed with constraint. So that's the question I want to raise to the Minister. He needs to confirm that, yes, I deny or I confirm that this is what he's doing. And the last question is this. Octeri Mining becomes a family mining. And I say this because he pushed to place his own brother from Telephoming as the current managing director, and is now controlling the house.
Honourable Member, we have a point of order. Prime Minister.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Standing order clearly makes it absolutely clear. No imputations, no inferences, no assumptions. This Parliament is not a place where you bring people who cannot defend themselves into disrepute. Mr. Speaker, you need to inform the honourable member on the other side to read the standing orders. You can have every right to ask your question, but no imputations, no inferences, not to bring in professional public into disrepute. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Prime Minister, your point of order is in order. Honourable Member, I would ask you to refrain from mentioning professional peoples into your questions.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't call the president's name. It's what I think. Anyway, I withdraw if I'm feeling pain. But I was asking the Minister. But the reality is true. So the question is Octeri Mine your own personal family member mining? Because his own brother from California is managing. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you.
The honourable member needs to refrain the use of word family mine? Is it your personal mine? And that's inferences, that's imputations. You need to allow him to withdraw the statement for this handset. The managing director in the question has been with Octary Mine for 30 years. He extended the life of Octary Mine by 20 years. He's a professional. He is the one, for the first time, sealing road from Kiunga to Tabubil for the first time. He is the one, for the first time, through Octary tax credit, doing road from Tabubil to also be for the first time. This is tax credit, state fund being utilized to support important projects these people have missed out for so long. Mr. Speaker, don't bring a professional Papua New Guinea into disrepute.
Honorable Member for North Fly, Prime Minister, your point of order is in order. I will ask you to withdraw that, and from the chair itself, would like you to withdraw the word on a national program which it is giving benefit to many people, naming the program as CON. As a chair, I think it is unparliamentary to make that, so I would like to ask you to withdraw that statement also.
In case, thank you, Acting Speaker. I withdraw that first family business name I tried to take against the Octary. That I withdraw. But let me inform you, Acting Speaker, the word CON is a dictionary word, in case you don't know. The word CON means don't pursue somebody to believe in something. That's called
Honorable Member.
So anyway,
Honorable Member, this is from the chair. The word CON, as you have described on the dictionary, it's interpreted by people out there. That CON is used on another interpretation by the Papua New Guineans, which I feel it's not better to be used on that. Honorable Member, I will allow the Minister to ask your question, answer your question. Honorable Minister, you answer the question.
Thank you. Through you, Acting Speaker, I want good luck question blow. Colleague member Blomina, neighbor Blomila not fly. It's always very, very, very fascinating. Now I'm so like interest through. Now it's our talk plantil los road too. But I'm not realizing myself planning something that thinking I'm got them in a straight. As a leader, he should be supporting this program and giving support to this program so that the people or the district next to him, Telephone district, should connect the road so that they can support also the district of North Fly, who will contribute economically to that district. Now, I'm not realizing too of them, Octary, about 40% of Telehomins are working to Octary mine to contribute to Octary. In terms of tax, na I'm locating equity, I'm locating royalty, I'm locating kind of benefit. I'm not realizing this plot too. Now, also there are people very close to his electorate, and also he has never given anything to them. So, long me go ahead.
Honorable Minister, we have a point of order.
Mr. Acting
Honorable
Speaker,
Member.
Mr. Acting Speaker, it would be a learned minister just simply answer the questions. Nothing more.
Honorable Member, your point of order is in order. Just let the Minister continue on to answer your question.
You got good law, for blah, ask him so, me like him some blah, all background past 10, I'll be answering you. The road from Tauville to Telefomin, almost 80% is in Western Province, and is electorate of North Fly. Also the road.
Honorable Member, Honorable Minister, you resume your seat. Honorable Member, this will be the last time I ask you for point of order, so I will entertain you on the point of order.
No, it's very interesting because he doesn't know the geography. The minister doesn't know the geography where the 80%, that's a lie. Half, almost 50 or 60% is telephony in Western Province. Is what he's trying to do. So it's not true.
Honorable Member, I will rule.
80% is not in Western.
Honorable Member, I will rule your point of order out of order. let the minister reply from what he had to reply to your question.
So as you feel in pain, you surround in me answer for blasting. This pla half percentage long in the road. One LLG and also with LLG. Now time lo me kissing this road called some LLG just to give the road to his people. And they are my people too, but they vote for James Donald using this road, and they voted for him. And he did not appreciate anything. So, as a leader from that mean area, Octet is within the mean area, and Telefomin is regarded as preferred area. You from Mawin, you from Yongom. You cannot speak language with them, but I can speak the same language. I have my clan on this side and Telefomin too, so we speak the same language, we are same culture, we are same people. So they are my people. Because of they are my people, I deliver the road through also and give them the road, and I deliver the road to Telefomin. You should be really happy as a leader.
Honourable Member, Governor, what's your point of order?
Whilst I appreciate the argument between the two members, there is a growing culture that ministers, prime ministers will always say, me give him, me give him, me give him. The question, I think the basic question asked by the minister, the member to the minister, is one of accountability and transparency. So can we confine the answer? What was the contract value? How much has been paid? Was it properly tendered? Who applied for the tender? And so on and so forth. I think that would, because these are public funds. This is not money that belongs to Western Province. It is not money that belongs to West Sepik or even to Telefomin. It is tax credit which comes out of the consolidated revenue, and that fund belongs to the people of Papua New Guinea. So let's get some transparency. Please correct.
Honourable.
You can blow you or blow Prime Minister or blow Papua New Guinea. You know, blow you.
Honourable Governor, your point of order is in order. Honourable Minister, I think you have given enough background of your relationship between you and the member. So I would ask you to go straight to the question that he asked in related to the funds that is given to that. So the more information of you knowing, I think we know that you're both from one area. So the information we have for you both, you go straight to the question as the point of order is pointed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Acting Speaker. All brother, you feel in pain and stuff, so by me answering Fopla. By me answering Fopla, question you. Connect PNC 5.6%, it contributes to the road because a missing link. Now that was one of those two first missing links, Finsafen to Ley and Tawaville to Telefomin. So Connect PNC is supporting. Also, Connect PNC is the tax credit scheme where all areas where all mine, all gas, oil stuff, all tax credit will give him support to. Tax credit and money block government. And money block government. 2%, 1% you go along all project, province or areas. Another 1% you go around the country. So Connect PNG funds through tax credit block 30, 2% and money block government. So only align want them Connect PNG lo fund more roads long Papua New Guinea. Now how will tell in one block is road. Now all 5 block projects blue you, 1 block long all them Daru road ceiling. Now road blue lari speed you along upside lo Indonesia, cross to by you Kisim. Now all now block roads too. So tax credit and 1 block big block long and ceiling road block come up block Kiunga go Tabubil. You should be appreciative of all these ones because of Connect PNG. Number 2 question below you, 236 million, octary tax credit we fund him, all he got all records below display. through the office lo me lo here lo Mosby lo Waigani and me got record lo display. Suppose you got record na you kisim record lo ngol. And but you must confirm. By me confirming display figure one them lo peri. But me no sama solely pay me contractor. Number 3, even construction, yes, display road, and former government staff only starting. Now time only go out, new government come in and we continue. So even construction was the contractor awarded the contract to start the road. And for me and my people in Telehomin and also your people in Olsowit are very happy with this road. Very happy with this road. If it wasn't this contractor Evans construction, this road is now reaching all people blow me to blah. Or also with people, not Telehomin people. So there are times that you must talk thank you. There are times that you must talk thank you. 119 million, and me no nablo clear the display too, by me must take him. You pay 19 million, by me must take him Octeri. But Octeri got own system long all yet. Contract long all yet, and our company only got contract long all system long all yet. So this problem me checking. Now it all connect. You say connect PNG. True na emi work lo pawani gini. True na work ikamab lo pawani gini. So I think some time you must give him credit where it's due. All plus scheme do long. Family contract na display, family managing director na display.
Honorable Minister, that I will not allow you to answer that because there's a point of order being raised and I have asked the member and he withdrew that already, so I would not allow you to do an explanation on that.
Okay, thank you. One time display, I think I'm all question na all the time you ask him yet, but all the time you must almost some road every all of people. Thank you.
Honorable members, our question time had lapsed. The Honorable Governor for Oro.
Thank you, Mr.
Honorable Member. Honorable Governor, I will recognize you. Sorry for interrupting. Prime Minister has a reply to a question that had been raised in the last Parliament, but after him I will recognize you. The Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. My apologies to Governor for Oro Province. I'll keep it short. Mr. Acting Speaker, the other day I seek leave of the chair to make a reply to a question asked by Governor for ECP on employment data. Mr. Speaker.
Is leave granted? Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, the 2 sessions ago, the good governor of ECP did ask some questions on what is the employment figure. And in that question, I did give full assurance that I will reply to him in the actuals of people behind desk from 8 o'clock to 4:06 or from 7 o'clock to 5 o'clock every afternoon in his definition of employment. I did point that on this side, our definition of employment is fundamentally different and deeper, more fuller. We don't just look at employment from the context of paid job, sitting behind a desk or sitting behind a paid position. We look in as far as employment in totality, more so to do with people's employment, people's empowerment rather, where they engage in economic activities. But nonetheless, he wanted me to define employment from his context, and that is actual day job or night jobs per person who earning salary. And we also in the business of growing employment. There are 6 big LNG and mining projects we have that is coming on board, as well as our focus on agriculture. Our focus on the other sectors of economy with broader space. And I want to give number. In my reply that time, I asked him and I asked his House to put a hand on 2018 numbers, 2019 numbers up to 2023. Mr. Speaker, it is my distinct pleasure to give some number if it is of any help to the leader who asked this question and to all of us. 2018, our agriculture, forestry, and fisheries sector employment, by the way, this data comes from IRC and not from James Marape's electoral office. So IRC has these numbers. Any one of you are most welcome to go and pick from IRC, because this emanates straight from those who pay personal income tax. In the agricultural sector, agriculture, forestry and fishery sector, in 2018 we had 54,008 employees in that sector. In 2019 we had 55,674 in that sector, 73. In 2020 we had 29,084. We all can understand the COVID-19 impact that caused that huge decline. Right 1 year on after that, there was a rebound in that sector to 64,357. In 2022, a massive double-up figure of 138,728 figure. Double up, the biggest ever expansion in our nation's history in the agriculture, forestry and fisheries sector. That confirms treasurer's assets under the non-resource sector GST, non-resource sector GDP, has been posting a 4% plus growth consistently for the last 3 years, Mr. Speaker. Put your finger on these numbers. If you think I'm lying, I don't lie unnecessarily. I don't lie. Go down to IRC. Some at the back are known to spew continuous lie to our people. Mr. Speaker, in the mining and quarry and petroleum sector, we've had 12,657 in 2018. We had 15,809 in 2019. We had 14,519 in 2020. We had 12,591 in 2021. We had 13,418 in 2022. We had 9,268 in 2023. There is a slight decline in this one, but it will rebound again very soon when we have the other projects coming on board. In the manufacturing sector, we have 15,449 in 2018. The reference point to 2018 Papua New Guinea is simple. That's under previous administration. We cross over in 2019. In 2019, we had 13,871 who were paying tax. In 2020, 18,734 who were paying tax. You ask me why in 2020, even in COVID-19, you have this number seemingly increase. I tell you the reason. Our government subsidized local production in the food space. Local production in the food space with COVID-19 induced global market shrinking. We did subsidize a little bit in the food sector. I want to also indicate in 2021 it went to 22,982 in 2021 rather, and in 2022 in the manufacturing sector there were 175,568 paying tax to IRC in 2022. In 2023, 178,706 who were paying tax. If you look at this one, last year 178,706 paying tax. You look at the 2018 figure, only 15,449 paying tax in that sector. Big jump in the non-resource sector of our GDP. In the electric, and I could run the electricity and gas and water supply figure there. There's an increase in that space. I will circulate this table to all members of parliament so that we for once speak with facts and not assumptions, thinking that you know better than the rest of us. Thinking you know better than the rest of us. This is our country. We're equally concerned about our people. We work in this sector also. I want to also point, there's a in the overall figure, if I could give in the interest of time, Mr. Speaker, to respect your chair. In all, in the quantum overall, in 2018, there was 453,222 people in the private sector in employment. This is not to include the government sector. I want to announce to our country, my government, one of the obligations we have to ourselves is to curtail no expansion in the public service recurrent. We don't want to increase the public sector employee space except police, health worker, and teachers. And the ministerial services, those will see some increase, but the rest we're putting a stop. But in the private sector employment space, in 2018, there was 453,222. In 2019, 484,811. In 2023, in all sectors, we have 547,839. There's evidence of increase in employment numbers. But I want to inform this House, this is not substantial. This is not massive. If it took us 44 years up to 2018 to only create 453,222 jobs for every citizen, then needless for us to blame anyone. All of us must work together to diversify the economy, create a bigger space, and grow the economy. It all comes through prudence, strong hands, and management of the economy. You can say you can run the economy, but it takes a real man and a real team to run it in tough times. We've run in the last 4 tough years. We're coming out in the tough times. We know where our goalpost is. We're moving towards prosperity for our country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Minister for Higher Education, I believe you have a self-explanation.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. I have a matter of public importance, and I would like to seek leave of the Chair to do a personal explanation with regards to a post-courier report by a Malian Baroe dated the 1st February 2024.
Leave granted. Make your speech.
Thank you. Mr. Acting Speaker, the news report insinuated that I was one of the ministers that authorized a fraudulent payment to a named law firm. My political rivals and those that are naive in mindset have capitalized on it to tarnish my good reputation and my good character, Mr. Acting Speaker. However, I forgive all those for the misconstrued misunderstandings, falsehood that has been rumored in the social media, the cunning insinuations that I have seen, and the deceptive computer animations that culminated to criminalizing or demonizing both the Prime Minister, Honorable James Marape, and myself. I urge those that are blind and don't see things clearly to acknowledge the following truths or factualities. Mr. Acting Speaker, the first is that a named law firm allegedly fraudulently paid matter is before a court. And therefore it is a sub judice matter. But I see so freely discussed by Papua New Guineans, even by members of this Honourable House, through the social media and everywhere. The matter is under judicial consideration and therefore prohibited from public discussions anywhere else, because it is in the court. The court is the competent place to discuss and establish the truth. I therefore ask that the freedom of speech and the use of the agents of social media be not abused, corrupted, or misapplied without responsibility, like I've seen happen very recently, the lead of this vote of no confidence period, and I've seen it getting more heavier and thicker and more hotter. But only to maliciously deface my good character and reputation, and I ask that people refrain from doing that because the matter is before court, and I'm not one of those parties. I'm not one of those parties, and I am irrelevant in this case. Secondly, I've been a member for Kandip open election for over the last 2 decades. Now, in fact, Mr. Acting Speaker, this term of Parliament is my candidate 5th term as member for Kandip, and I'm proudly doing my job as a member and as a member of my colleagues on the floor of Parliament. In those years, ever since 2002 when I got elected, up to the present status, I've never had any single taint or dot in my career. Not even a single one. None. I'm saying it humbly, but also some pride that I don't have
Don't. Prior to my entering politics in 2022, I had a clean record as a civil engineer, a humble civil engineer, and a humble public servant, and also a consultant in the private sector, and as a law-abiding citizen. I am now a law-abiding citizen and authority-respecting citizen also, irrespective of whatever position I hold in public office. Whatever I hold in public office is important, but what is more important to me is my reputation, my character. Because the office doesn't make me good. I have to be good within me to make the office good, to lift the standard high. So I like to urge all those who understand the truth to be responsible. I've not abused the office that I've been responsible in any capacity I've been in various governments. I've never mismanaged the people's money. I've never misused taxpayers' funds, even in my electorate or anywhere else where I was put responsible for. And please do not criminalize or accuse me for only want of political expediency. It's not good. It's not good. That's not the right way. You don't try to destroy a good man to gratify yourself. That's not the way to do things. Let's be normal and be simple. Whatever you're looking for will come if you are normal and be simple. Look at the evidence. I'm not one that is in there.
Honourable Member, we have a point of order. Honourable Member of Vanmugri.
Mr. Speaker, the good Minister for Higher Education has rightfully said the matter is sub judice. That explanation can be reserved when the matter is before the court, and he has to be answerable to the courts, not here. Parliament is not a courthouse. So he should reserve that. When his time comes in court, he can go and explain to the courts. Thank you.
Honourable Member, your point of order is in order. I will allow the Honourable Minister. I think I've seen from his explanation, he's trying to inform the public of how they're using social media and other media stream to tarnish individual members' reputation. And I've seen the statement is in regard on that, but to explain himself on what matter involved in allegate, it's the matter of court to explain. So, Honourable Member, refrain from explaining yourself of what you're going to present to court and inform the country of what they're using media statement, and your explanation can be on behalf of all us, Honourable Members of the House, that those people out there must be careful on what they're doing in tarnishing the good Honourable leaders of this House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Also, me talking. Me no stablo court. I'm not party to it. I'm not there. Me not go to court and make him to me no stablo is something irrelevant. But don't money calling me nothing. So me to talk this way. Now finally me talk also. Me no explain him court. Me talk also finally. Now me look him name Prime Minister Marapitu come back. Me look him. But look him one blood decision when nation court been make him. Why I'm been clearing Prime Minister too. I'm clearing finished. But still me look him all money lag long. But every man were caught yet declaring finished. No, this is all case here. That's the truth. That's a fact.
Honourable Minister. Honourable Member, your point of order is in order. Honourable Minister, I've explained earlier. I want you to mention something in what I've made statement of earlier.
I think, Speaker, I'll conclude now. I just heard that let's not spread false rumor just because we would like to gain some political gain. What I'm saying is some of us, we are not in that. We are not in the court. We are completely irrelevant to all these things you're saying. Please, so do not use the social media for politics because you just want to destroy somebody. Some of us, we love our reputation. We like to build our character. We like to remain there. Please don't destroy us when we don't deserve to be destroyed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable, it's grievance debate, so I've been reserving this for Governor for Oro. So, Honourable Governor for Oro.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. My grievance debate, I have three particular subjects that I would like to talk about. One is on the issue of taxation.
The other is on the issue of the LLG elections. And the final subject matter is on the issue of transnational crimes, especially the rise of the importation, production, distribution of illicit drugs. Firstly, Mr. Assistant Speaker, my concerns in regards to taxation are about a recent decision made to do away with the dependence tax rebates. I believe that this has been placed on hold by the IRC. It appears on their website that they have placed the implementation of this decision on hold, and this is commendable. But I believe that there are already organizations, including possibly government departments, that are already implementing this situation or the prevention of employees from claiming tax rebates, their dependent rebates. This is causing a significant amount of misery to a segment of our population, those who are making an effort to at least claim these rebates and get some relief from the rising cost of goods and services that they are all facing, we are all facing. So I would like to urge our government to seriously consider reversing this decision. Allow taxpayers to claim dependent rebates. It's about 200, 300 kina per fortnight for many of these taxpayers. And while that might not be an amount of money that's of any significance to some of us here, or those in the higher income bracket, it is significant to those who have to forego that amount of money every fortnight. So I'd like to urge the government to consider reversing this decision.
Honourable Provincial Member for Oro, we have a point of order from Opposition Leader.
I think there was something in the papers that this is a rebate, 200 or 300 kina. It's 64 kina. So if my good governor can look at that and correct himself that it's 64 kina, not 300 or 200 kina. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Opposition Leader, your point of order is in order. And I think the Honourable Governor is making statement on his debate upon what information he have collected and have. So I'll allow him to present what he have to this House.
It depends, actually, Mr. Assistant Speaker, on exactly how much income is being earned by the taxpayer. So it's not specifically 65 kina, although I'm glad to see that the opposition leader is keeping himself informed of tax laws in our country. That's good. Do more studies there, please. So my point here is that let's do away with this. We cannot cause misery to our people. We have put the threshold for taxpayers up to about 20,000, and that's great. But then we have allowed this, or we have removed the rebates, which is not so great. And this will cause not only misery, but it causes concern out there. So let's also clarify that. And if it's already happening, then inform the companies, government departments that are doing it to immediately stop. Also, I'd like to say that in October 2015, after 2 years of work and almost 100 submissions made by stakeholders, the Tax Review Committee tabled its report to the government with 91 recommendations. I think the government of that time had sanctioned this report, paid some money for the Tax Review Committee to carry out its work, and the report remains yet to be attended to. I would urge our government to do this immediately. This will provide some tax relief to taxpayers, legitimate taxpayers. And here I want to make a side note. I'd like us to consider going after those taxpayers who are not paying their taxes. And there are quite a number of them in this country, operating in our fisheries industry, operating in our logging industry, and various other areas, who are not paying their taxes. We are not vigorously pursuing these bad taxpayers. What we're doing is hammering those who are already paying their taxes. And we have to stop doing this. We have to make a concerted effort to look at what is called the black economy. And Prime Minister, I remember, Mr. Speaker, sorry, Assistant Speaker, Acting Speaker, my apologies. I remember that this government, the previous government, the government before that, spoke on many occasions about attending to what is known as the black economy. But no one has actually made an effort to do anything about this. The black economy is a significant chunk of our economy which are not paying their taxes, which are operating in this country as free riders. And we are allowing them to do as they please. And they're investing and they're thriving and growing their businesses, even funneling their funds offshore. And nothing has been done about these bad taxpayers. But we keep hammering those who are making the effort to pay taxes. So this government needs to make a significant effort to actually take the bull by the horns and tackle this segment of our tax-paying population who are actually avoiding taxes, who are free riders in this country. And they can start by taking a look at the recommendations made by the Tax Review Committee. In those recommendations, I believe there were some suggestions that we should lower the tax rates, which are the highest in the region, the tax rates that are imposed on our taxpayers. Company tax, withholding tax, pay-as-you-earn tax. We pay the highest taxes in the region. Yet we're supposed to be an extremely wealthy country, if you look at our resources. So that's on the subject of taxation. On the subject of LLG elections, I differ from the views of my colleague Governor, and I respect his views. But for us in our province, the Assembly, the PEC, the people we consulted, they opted for council presidents to be voted in by their people rather than by councillors. We prefer that option. And in fact, I believe that at the last Governors' Conference in Morabeh, it was decided that provinces should decide whether they want to opt for allowing councillors to vote for council presidents or whether the people would vote for council presidents. And so some provinces would prefer that councillors vote council presidents, and that's fine. They have their reasons which are, peculiar to them, and we appreciate and respect that. But those of us who feel that the people ought to vote their council presidents, we ought to be given that opportunity as well. And we should not consider cost. I understand the minister's concerns about that, and he has valid concerns, but if we are a government for the people, of the people, by the people, we should listen to the people. And in this instance, if a people in a particular province, say for instance our province, decide that they would like to elect their council presidents, then we should allow for that. In regards to my final subject, it's to do with transnational crimes, but in particular the rise of what we would call hard drugs, drugs such as heroin, cocaine, opium, and methadone, methamphetamines, fentanyl, and a frightening new drug that's emerging in the Western countries called tranq, animal tranquilizer. Very addictive, very cheap. And it's finding its way into the Pacific. It's already here on the streets of Port Moresby. In fact, there have been instances where policemen, public servants, have been caught using these drugs, these hard drugs. This is a frightening development. When I was a law enforcement officer and we were combating the rise of transnational crimes, we started to see the emergence of transnational criminal cartels. Papua New Guinea was just a transit point. Today, Papua New Guinea is also a production point. This is frightening. In the past, what we observed were cartels were flying in what they call cooks to cook the drugs in the province, in the country, before exporting them on log ships, on yachts, and other small craft. Now they have their own cooks trained here to do that, and they're operating here, and they're thriving. And then their illegal funds are converted into legitimate monies. They're buying property, developing gated communities, running legitimate businesses like restaurants. You'd be surprised. But this is already happening here. Now, if this cheap drug hits the streets and it's accessible to our youth, our growing youth bulge, who are restless, unoccupied, if we don't do anything about them, they will become a serious concern for us. If these drugs become accessible to them, we will have serious problems. I remember as Director for Intelligence, I wrote many assessments to the government of the day about this emerging problem. This was in 2008. We started to see what was happening. It's happening now. And I feel that we need to take serious stock of this situation and address it with the severity that it needs. And the recommendation I would like to make out of this is that the police need to be empowered to develop the capacity that it needs to address this growing issue. We established what we call the Transnational Crimes Investigation Unit in 2006. It was established by the Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary, the Papua New Guinea Customs, and the Australian Federal Police. That organization has been left to basically deteriorate to a point where it is no longer functioning.
Honorable Governor, your 10 minutes of debate has lapsed.
Thank you very much, Assistant Speaker.
The Honorable Provincial Member of ECP.
Thank you for that clarification, Mr. Acting Speaker. I just want to say how thankful I am that the one question I asked the Prime Minister on employment made him uncomfortable. I think we are too comfortable in this House. We've been comfortable for a long time. And our people are feeling the impact of our lackadaisical comfort. And this is one of the reasons I wanted to come here on this side, Mr. Acting Speaker. Because inside government, you can't really talk like this. And I feel so sorry for my brother, the governor of Oro. Because I sat with him for 5 years while he complained, and he's still complaining. And here's the thing.
Honorable Member, what's your point for the Prime Minister?
I appreciate the regional member feeling sorry for governor on the other side, but needless to feel sorry for another leader. Your own equivalence, and he should know he's the last person to rebut that on this side we don't encourage debate and conversations. Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Provincial Member, I will ask you to continue on from what you have said earlier and take note of what the Prime Minister have said.
Effect again. But anyway, we are doing many no effect interjections on the floor. In any case, you see, I hear a lot of ministers lament the fact that why aren't we like Singapore, Misa Hari Mogaratai? Well, there's a simple reason. And that reason is we don't report on the same things that Singapore does. We don't report on job statistics on the floor. This is the first time in 6 years I've been a member of parliament that a prime minister has reported job statistics. Do we wonder why we don't perform? And the interesting thing is, there's a number you block at Paitim Han Longemia. And I'm going to double check these figures with the Employers Federation after this, because that's the job of a responsible opposition. We have to keep you in check. You know why? Mr. Acting Speaker, that side of the House is going to spend more than 28 billion kina of public funds this year. 26 billion. That's going to be spent by that side of the House. The front bench of government is going to spend that much money for or in the name of our people. And it's our job to make sure that you account for every single toya you spend. That's our job. That's our job. But more than that, if you want to be like Singapore, then you have to bring reports to the floor like Singapore. No can talk nothing.
Honorable Provincial Member, I have the member for Okapa have a point of order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Some governor making good blood talk, but he says Lamani come, you don't have the side that's by using Lamani, opposition to by using Lamani. So correct Mr. Statement, please. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Harim good. Me cut him come back 26 because total budget and 27 billion. So no good me by using 26 1 billion people na bulk by stalol. I can actually bring. I can go
Honorable Provincial Member, Honorable Governor.
So sorry, you prepare, but
Honorable Governor, resume your seat. Honorable Governor.
It is the chair who will make the ruling on the point of order, not you to make a ruling on the point of order. So, Honorable Governor, you will take note from what the member has said, and I will ask you to continue. You only have 6 minutes left.
Because all man Pilimpen interject close to na. You're right. Way belong. But in any case, from the numbers we received, only 100,000 jobs were created in the last 5 years. I'm just under to solve me looking low. What am something? Prime Minister, I give him. Behind you giving me paper now. Me to plug and talk. But the point is, Mr. Acting Speaker, people blow Papua New Guinea, like Sabe. What are we doing with their money? If we are creating jobs, where are they? Like, I saw the forestry job numbers go up, but I know for a fact that we increased taxes on logging by 70%. I know because I sat on that side of the house and we did that. And I know that a lot of forestry companies shut down. So I'm a bit skeptical on some of these numbers, but anyway, we'll verify them next week. The point is, if we want to be like Singapore, we should adopt some of the Singaporean practices. Like number one, we should have a very strong front bench. And that front bench should be performing. That front bench should be reporting, not just on the floor for the benefit of the opposition, but for the benefit of the people of Papua New Guinea. If you are going to be spending significant funds and say that people of Papua New Guinea, don't just come and report on roads and bridges and things like that, which we all welcome, but report also on the growth in the economy, report also on the inflation numbers. Come na talk lawyer so people of Papua New Guinea can understand why no local Pilimpen. They want to know. And that is where we are failing. There is no dashboard report that the government can come and present in this house that shows how the country is performing. We don't have a dashboard report, Mr. Acting Speaker. And why shouldn't we? This is the modern world. We should have things like that. We want to be like Rwanda, we talk about it. We want to be like Singapore. Well, when are we going to adopt the practices that make countries like that the way they are, rather than Yumi Tok Tok Taso? Because again, the energy for the development of this country is directed by the front bench of government. 38 ministers determine where this country goes. The rest of us, whether you like it or not, you are told to go back. Maybe like giving you 20 million, maybe like giving you 10 million. You passing house no go work lo district blow you. No can na complain lawyer. No can talk lo big blow money blow government and blow government like blow me blah. That is our current cultural practice. So should anyone be surprised that we are not like Singapore, that we wish to be like them, but we're not? I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because our very practices are cargo cultists. Oh, you blow civic should one bell because 340 million and me kissing and giving you plan. That's all you mean lose thinking all same. One blah vote go make him you come a prime minister and you give him something where rightfully belongs to the people of East Civic. Because we worked for it. We tend to have short memories and we tend to think that something blow me papa blow something. Hold on a minute. Consolidated revenue funds belong to every single Papua New Guinean. They are entitled. This is what's wrong with our country. This is what's wrong with our country. Because time you me holding, but you gonna talk classroom here and me making. No. Money blow people blow Papua New Guinea making. You know you make him. You are just a custodian. No connect to some you owner. We need a change in the thinking of the leaders of this country where me, Papa, na mika na look at you blogger. No, God. You know, Papa, you custodian. Taso. There's like I'm passing you me make him now. We wonder why our country is all over the place. We wonder why there is no investor confidence. Because they see how we perform here. They see our lack of reporting. They see our lack of a dashboard where investors can come down, look now, can gauge him also. Is Papua New Guinea an attractive investment destination or not? If I come and invest $10 billion, will I be able to take my profits out or not? If they are going to lock up all the foreign exchange and there is a backlog of foreign exchange orders, how do I get my profits out? Well, maybe I shouldn't bring my $10 billion and invest it in this country. Maybe I should take it to another country. These are the things that we discuss in government WhatsApp and nothing happens. We're going to have a grievance debate today, and many good ideas are going to come from the members of this Honorable House. I don't see anyone taking notes. I don't see anyone coming back and saying to the relevant minister, well, this is the concern of member for such and such. Now, enough, you may go and make him something so that Bianimi can come back and talk to the member or say, yes, government take note. Now, we are implementing some actions towards resolving the concern of the member for such and such. We haven't seen that. Now, I'm not saying it's the fault of the current government. I'm just saying that it's a cultural problem that we need to fix. If we want our country, if we want our people to raise their standards, if we want our people to do better, if we want them to come and start working, so that Yumi by Teximol na Yusim Tex Law go back na Halabi more, then perhaps the standard needs to rise right here. Perhaps the standard should be that, well, first of all, let's follow the law. If we pass a law in this House, then we should be the last people to break it, like some of the questions we've asked during the week.
Honourable Provincial Member for
Thank you,
ACP, your
Mr. Acting
10 minutes
Speaker.
elapsed. Honourable members, I'd like to interrupt the Parliament to do a small explanation to the House. Honourable members, please issue me House. As of today and on, the Chair will recognize you all governors. I will address you as provincial members per the National Gazette that all governors elected are the provincial members. The Chair will recognize your name, call you, and everybody, we have to call all our governors as provincial members. The governor is only the governor for NCD. He will be called governor. And the regional member will be only called to the regional member for Bougainville. And all provincial member must be addressed as a provincial member of respective provinces. Member for Jimmy, the honourable member for Jimmy.
Just like Sarim, Sambla Lignik Ting Ting Blomi, thank you long. You blow all Gatai, stop no, you make and say one time. Lo Lignik Ting Ting Blomi and me, be just like Sawe or some Nubla word or word Kansola, the Nubla LLG, all process. Stop me play again, Sawe Liglik, also me Paul Liglik, plenty all Kansol words, all Brugim 500, all Brugim 600, population you go 2, 3, now make him plenty all words. So maybe, you know, Sawe, you must Brugim all 3,000, 4,000, or make him 2 words, or me just cut Liglik Ting Ting. Na Nubla LLG, all some requirements, na process that must come. Na by come up long in them, me just think good balo you miss our. Me yet me no clear plenty time me bla make me come start lo provincial na me no come down lo here na kai no sem so me just serve this plan. Me no think they got need lo work him common role lo LLG election. Also you may have national election just recently now. Common role you may update him finish. You know got need long. Only work him again. Plan the messy come up, plan the resource you wasted. That same public servant can conduct him the council election per word by word long. One electorate blow you me and by good pla through. This like money you me can spend him or some and by help him. All candidates also meeting a good pla long. Every election you must get some bla league Senate also some bla all come up 2 or 3 term councillor, maybe only qualify lo come up president. Na sambla all president is tap 2 term or kind of all must qualify lo come up deputy governor. Sabla kind of process or prejudicial sem, you must put him in place now. Only can be him now. You can improve league. Because kind of some all council candidate lo one word you have now all grade 10 leavers, all grade 8 leavers, all grade 12 leavers, all drug line 2 staff, all house line staff, big play competition. So what you put him some like no some league requirement, you know pulling drug, make him travel, kind of same you fit lo qualify, lo sign up na kind of same meeting and by improving the youths as well as and by bringing him on good luck. Councillors come in. And more same me. Same thing that's all. Biometric meeting, you got at least election after election, we must improve league now. Use him system, we must send him league now. Help him more council election more easy, help him national election more easy. By nice to mass. So maybe you mean already lo council election, okay, you mean ready long national election or 8 election that by all line no same always you mean some lose lo court na kay no same you mean try lo using biometric na at least send him style lo voting league na and by help him lo find him some good man lo come inside almost league 5 minutes sharing kilometers all also me film him. It's about time and some system you must improve him from the bottom up or from the top down. Or kind of similar, make him a better system and a better way of doing things into the future. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Vanimo Green.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Me too like this in this time law. Welcome debate. Mr. Acting Speaker, we got serious concern law security in the country. Law and order situation in the country. Many in the border in the country. Mr. Acting Speaker, me debate plenty time finish law display. But government after government have not taken serious concerns, especially on the border, on the law and order issue in the country, and some inaction and also irresponsibility by the government. Firstly, Mr. Acting Speaker, me like debate long issue lo border blo lo Western Province na lo West Pacific Province. Mr. Acting Speaker, me like him Minister of Defense, Minister of Police, and of course Prime Minister. He can take note of some very important debate issue by raising. Mr. Acting Speaker, lo vanimo, lo wutun border, all soldier lo imi work lo come up all immigration officers, quarantine officers, check him all citizens lo imi work lo go come. I mean, work lo soldier lo making this lo work. One bla report they come lo me and one bla citizen lo me. I mean, like Karim gold lo go trade lo Indonesia now soldier kisim gold le. Large amount of gold. Worth about 400,000 kina. Now, soldier kisim na, they have not to date returned it back to the owner of the gold. This is very serious. The soldier's job on the border is to patrol the border between Western Province and West Pacific along the border between Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Not becoming immigration officers and quarantine officers. Mr. Acting Speaker, this post law soldier law utong must be removed. Soldiers must be mobile. They must be patrolling the borders. There's a lot of illegal trade, transnational crime. Plenty man who will come inside the country illegally because our borders are not properly manned. And probably because our soldiers and the police who are doing their job on the border are not properly funded by the government. We have literally compromised the security of our nation, Mr. Acting Speaker. This is a very serious issue. We are not a country if we do not give prominence to the security of our nation. And then I'm seeing some posts in social media of soldiers performing duties up in the islands, standing and walking around those so-called warlords who are also armed. Where are we heading to? Where is our country heading to, Mr. Acting Speaker? I'm seeing also posts of soldiers having an affair with women and then taking shots. A woman is holding a gun. We need serious attention. There is a total breakdown in discipline in our forces. And while I'm on that, Mr. Acting Speaker, the Defense Force cannot be run by an acting commander for such a long time. What has happened to the suspension of the commander of the Defense Force? Where is the report on the Cupiano incident? There was a training that went wrong. There was an investigation conducted, or a general inquiry that was conducted. But it has not been tabled on the floor of Parliament, and the commander is still under suspension. The commander in any army in the world cannot, the army in any country in the world cannot be run by an acting commander for that long. There must be a permanent commander. If you allow that, there will be breakdown in discipline. There will be breakdown in discipline. I want to know when the government is going to table that report on the Cupiano incident, when the issue on the suspension of the commander is going to be addressed. And when the Black Wednesday happened, we suspended 3 prominent government officers, including the police commissioner. But within 14 days, the police commissioner was reinstated. 2 issues. 1, 2 people died in a training that went wrong. 1, a mayhem in the city, more than 20 people died. And then we reinstated the police commissioner. That fast. That fast. Is there some biasness going on in our leadership in the country?
Prime Minister, your point of order.
With respect to the member for Wanwa Green's statement, a good statement he's making, but it's an assessment of biasness. I think NSAT should remove this one. In every matter, there are case merits of every matter. And, this Parliament has not yet been presented with facts on the General Board of Inquiry into the defense matter. In fact, it has been concluded as we speak. But on the police commission's matter, let it be on handset that he was on leave. The acting commissioner at the time is still suspended as we speak. So I just want to put that correct. The acting commissioner at the time was acting when the ugly events of January 10th happened. He's still on suspension as we speak. The investigation ascertained that the commissioner was out of office. That's why he was restored back in 14 days. And, I'll be making further announcements on this in due course. But I just thought, as a point of order, let's not make assertions of biasness in the public space. Our people are watching. Everyone is watching. We speak on matters on substance without making inferences and assertions.
Mr. Your point of order is in order. I'll ask the member to continue on your.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. What I'm basically saying is that you have on one end commander that has been on suspension for too long. We cannot allow a defense force in any country to be run by acting commander. And on the other hand, we have a police commissioner that was suspended, and in no time he was reinstated. What is the practice? Mr. Acting Speaker, and more than that, in the defense force, the department is supposed to be a support element. But the defense force department has grown into a white elephant. A white elephant. No wonder why soldiers are not having food in their messes. No wonder why soldiers do not have uniforms. Because the money is spent on the Department of Defense, which has become a white elephant. Soldiers laid a complaint of misappropriation, irregularities, and corruption within the Department of Defense against the Department of Defense and the Secretary of Defense, and nothing has been done. The complaint was laid last year. Nothing has been done. This is an important security element. This is the last line of defense of our country. We cannot allow the Department of Defense to grow more than the Defense Force itself, the uniformed personnel. The Secretary cannot encroach into the command and control of the uniformed personnel. Uniformed personnel come under the command and control of the Commander-in-Chief, the commander of the Defense Force. Same applies to the police force. And while I'm talking about the police force, Mr. Acting Speaker, the investigation team that was involved in an investigation of one of our members of parliament has been disbanded, and most of them have been suspended. For what? Are you telling me that we are already encroaching into the systems of government and politics is interfering into the systems of government?
Honorable Member, I think your time for debate has lapsed.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker.
The provincial member for West New Britain.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. Before my grievance debate, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of my people of West New Britain, I extend my sincere condolences to the family and people of Medang, mainly the Usinabundi people, for the untimely demise of our late Honorable Minister Jimmy Uguru. Mr. Acting Speaker, thank you for recognizing me. Aste mi like tak lik lo tisla amendment lo constitution lo Papua New Guinea lo amendim molsam yimi declare him PNG as a Christian country. Na you may adapt him disla Christian values na principles. Me congratulate him Attorney General blo yumi lo pass him disla important law and make him disla important amendment na tu lo make him disla amendment lo court system blo yumi lo give him clear separation as National Court and Appeal Court and Supreme Court. Mr. Acting Speaker, lo side lo tu. Mr. Acting Speaker, me born as a Hindu. Mr. Acting Speaker, you know also you me choose him religion lo you me. You born lo one em family you by behind him this la one em lotu em papa na mama em school him you. One em algata lotu me also em thinking also algata lotu also em plenty rivers. Algata rivers have a run pull down la 1 plus salwara to so. Kain also em lotu tu em plenty lotu stop. Also em plenty water river. Em pull down la 1 plus salwara em plenty lotu em pull him mimi go la 1 plus destination to so. We call him big man, na? God. God doesn't require our recognition to exist. Does he require our recognition to exist? And we don't need him. Recognition, believe me. If you ask me if this religion is important, yes, of course, it gives us a guiding principle for our people. I stay through me know like support him because I'm decision blow also I'm Catholic diocese na disla na me check him Bishop Aram I'm tag also I'm all professionals all work him disla decision. But then me look him also people blow you me I'm also overwhelmingly support him also over 96% MCLRC report I'm tag also. Suppose me wish blow people we are here to express their wish. You know lo come lo give him personal opinion blow you me lo as to what is best. So as long as Acting Speaker, people like can behind him this la Christian values na principles. Suppose we talk through also me behind him this la principles na values. Me no think the way we behaved yesterday. You by behave lo this la honorable house too. It's not about how many verses of Bible you know, Mr. Acting Speaker, but it is what you can actually follow. Even if you follow one verse of Bible, then you are a true Christian. But Acting Speaker, me save looking plenty man save come na. I'll just talk olsem Matthew chapter 16 verses 2 to 3 em talk olsem. Whether em through this number exists or no God minus save tu. Mr. Acting Speaker, that's the truth. Also come na talk na all get the innocent people. All by think olsem you trupla man, you olsem one pla godly man. Now all by believing you. Even lo side lo election too also call him this name lo one big man na by ask him vote. Then all by think also you through lotu man all by give him vote. Yumi oklo take him advantage lo this innocent mind blow, people blow Yumi, Mr. Acting Speaker. As I said, Mr. Acting Speaker, religion also by a choice. Maybe after you grow after 18 you kisim plenty save, then you can decide. But time you born, papa na mama wanem lotu I'll be any Yumi be him to sol this lotu. Big man save lo wanem something and me best lo you. You born lo this part of the world, okay, you kisim this la something. As long as you can follow your religion faithfully, then you by reaching this la same destination. Where you meet also there is only one creator. There cannot be more than one creator. There cannot be more than one God. As long as everyone follow faithfully. Now too, Mr. Acting Speaker, that world people are dying in the name of religion. Big man, talk lo you by fight in the name of religion. Also one pla religion and big pla more another pla religion. Also one pla religion talk suppose be enim this la lotu blongol. Then all right lo kill him all narapla line. Big man create mimi algata same time you kisim one pla cut buluti kapsai by red color ya blow me them red color blow me by one and blue color time you cry na I were blow you taste him salty ya blow me too by salty. Mr. Acting Speaker, for me the religion is simple. Doing good is my religion. If I do good, I feel good. If I do bad, then I feel bad. It is as simple as that. We cannot take advantage of, the innocent minds of people in the name of religion. But to help them with a guiding light, yes, every religion is important. And PNG being a majority as Christian followers, it's great. If people can follow even one principle of Christianity, this country will be a changed country. This country will be, changing in terms of attitude. Mr. Acting Speaker, being born as a human being itself is a blessing. But when you're born as a human being, you got popla peccato. Our senses are imperfect. Being born as a human being, we are sure to commit mistake. And we are sure to become illusioned. And we have a propensity, a tendency to cheat. This one is unavoidable. When you born as human being, there is no one is perfect. Mr. Acting Speaker, British ruling India lo close to over 300 years. All like convertim algata disla billion people lo convertim lo to blongol na. Come up. Of course, still population lo all narapla lo to is still substantial na stuff. System where all adapting also traditional system also PNG too. Before lo to come, you got system to stop yeah. This la system is sustaining this la country too. Of course, lo to come uniting you because you stop also divided also tribes na clans na kind also division stuff. So Christianity come na and give him opportunity lo unite him. This la 800 tribes and clans and different language people. Side lo also suppose me talk lo me strictly ban him lo to blow me. Lo to blow me got 4 strong principles. Number 1. Can kai meat. No can kill him one plus something, na you kai. Number 2, no alcohol or no intoxicants. Number 3, no illicit sex. Sex outside of marriage. Number 4, no gambling. That's all. Suppose you ask him, algata man, kai meat? No got. Algata man, plenty man kai. It's only a very minority population. So, principles available. But whether you mean like behind him, this are all principles where traditionally ancestors you set him up. Question mark. Religion, you may got plenty religion, but spirituality is one. Mr. Acting Speaker, time close to finish, but me like give him one little story also me run past the soul na me finish in this little debate below me. Mr. Acting Speaker, he got one pastor also one strong lotuman behind him. Savel all get the verses below Bible too, na strong pastor me also stop close to true big man. So village stop long close to he got one trap dam, he got water, plenty water stop na just time dam brook. Dam brook na big water wakla capsite na come inside the place plug na time water emulsion dam water brook na come sample line come lo car na takim pasta also mi kalap lo dis la car na mi pla pikim you na rescue me tasol pasta tag also mi big pla lo tu man na mi savelo big man yet by come na save me. So I'm rushing this la car. Now water come inside, I'm go inside the house, I'm Pastor Okla swim inside the house. Now one pla banana boat come lo. I blow house plug em na mi al takol sem. You kalaplo this la banana boat. Em pastor taklo same takol sem em isave em big bla lo tuman na em big man head by rescue men. Em rousing this la boat too. Now wara go on top na. Pastor go stand up a kalap on top la roof la house plug em na em stand up on top la house. Na em stand up la roof na em all helicopter come na throw my rope na em refuse to lo this la offer lo rescue men. Of course, I'm past time pull down la water na I'm dry na I'm die. I'm drown na I'm die. So I'm good la past so I'm got opportunity to go to heaven. So I'm go to heaven na big man oklo receiving one man na I'm past the time lo past come na past time chorus no good through. Past time chorus also I'm asking big man also me oklo promote him you na praise him you tasol you na come na rescue me. I'm chorus lo big man. So big man too oklo confused also why na pastor koros sem tag also big man takim pastor also. Pastor me salim triple time. Me come lo rescue you. Me salim kari come na you refuse. Me salim boat come you refuse. You me salim helicopter come na you refuse. Mr. Acting Speaker, the message is big man em stop lo hard lo yumi algata. You know also me yet by come na rescue me. So you must respect him also big man em me sit down inside lo hard lo one. Sit down here, na sit down long up. Hemi stop inside low. Dark peak algata up to. So then you must respect him. This la entire creation. Thank you, Acting Speaker. Thank you.
The Honourable Member for Pomio.
Thank you, Mr. Acting Speaker. Firstly, Lomaki people of Pomio mi salim toksori golo the late Education Minister, member blowing me logo pundi. People toksori na the pray long. Big man again give belly siloen. Soul blend. Just want to contribute to this grievance debate with a few observations. Firstly, the governor for, although a provincial member of the governor for East Pacific said something about comparing us with Singapore. Singapore had a consistent prime minister for 31 years. Since 1959 to 1990, Lee Kuan Yew was the prime minister of Singapore. Ono senizim. Compared to Papua New Guinea, imi ko prime minister close to nasta. So lo yumi start 49 years now. 49 years now. So 49 years now na yumi says yumi got almost prime minister now. I think 8 plau, 9 plau, something also. But we acknowledge him, the former prime minister lo yumi the late Chief. I think he was yumi start long time neglig. That's the time he established the 2050 vision and then PNC MTDP 2010 to 2030, and then there were other medium-term development plans stuff inside. My observation is after 2017 elections, we had the MTDP number 3, medium-term development plan number 3. Now, asked Ntiblo Tesla, I'm covering years 2018 to 2022. The aim is securing our future through inclusive, sustainable, and economic growth. We got 9 key result areas. The first one talked about improving or growing the economy. And then 1 year later, after the MTD plan was introduced, company senis 2020. Last year, 2023, Nubla government can come Nubla plan now. We call him MTDB 4. So immediately MTD4 covering the years 2023 to 2027. Just only 1 year after implementing this particular plan. Now, in clear straight, it gives us 12 strategic priority areas, 12 stuff inside. The first one also talked about growing the economy. To increase the current economy to 200 billion by 2030 to stop inside. And our targets are in place. Now, he got all specific targets related to SPAs, any stuff clear. I've read this. I think that's an important document that we need to align ourselves with. From the LLGs, you got districts, you got province, you got agencies. I think the plan is very, very clear. I'm going to thank you, Prime Minister and the team, Lomakim also Chairman of PAC. We know that this year, we allocated 27 billion Kerala budget, and my committee will be establishing some key monitoring systems to make sure that the funding allocated to things like agencies like the PHH, Department of Health, even the Connect PNG, and every funding that's going through will be monitored properly, so we achieve the targets for MTDP4. That's our plan at the moment. So we'll talk some, just the first year after implementation of the MTDP4, and we are talking about, we are again trying to change the government again. Singapore did, what they did was they continued. That's a government that was established and they maintained the Prime Minister for some time. So I'm thinking with us all. Now, my previous debate today is we are given the chance. Here we are, if the Prime Minister, the Mara Barroso government is to be assessed on their performance. They give the assessments in 2026, 2027. And total economy staff will same. So we have a plan that's guiding us, aligned to MTDP4 that's already aligned with STDP 2030 and 20th division, aligned to Constitution, and I believe we are on the right track. And if we can all combine together to bring in good discussions, I believe we can bring our country to a better position. First, Dr. Blomi. Second one, second point, Blomi. I was in my district last week, and I was presented with a petition from PMV owners. Dr. Blow, I will talk about some plenty of crime story or crime story committee. Every couple of pigini under the age of 18 years, who are taking advantage of the Juvenile Act of 2014. So plenty of pigini now in trouble or contribute today. I stop on it age 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 10 years go down. I go on top. The Thai police arrest them all, only Pani hard arrest them all too. They cannot be able to formally lay proper charges on this particular age group because only stop on long Juvenile Act of 2018. So all been given to talk long seminar will bring a capman. Now look na amending section so that the police looks how good na arrest him also mangi. So that whoever is going this problem so that they are formally charged as an adult. And these are the people who now will go in trouble. Tomorrow police arrest them all, carry them all, go cell, lock them all up. And then next week, there's the same people, all carry them and making trouble again. As I speak today, my LLG at Sinevit had big problem through this lab. And it's caused by same all Sumatin, all Yambon Manaki. So it's something that we need to really address as a government. Looking at the Juvenile Act of 2014, if we can make some amendment to reduce that age factor from maybe 18 or stop at 12 or call 14, I mean, we can ask the government to look this last side. So I'm number 2 point. Number 3, I was in Vanuatu 3 weeks ago. I had the chance of going to Indonesia, meeting with Consul General of Papua New Guinea to Jayapura, His Excellency George Wiri. Na tok we the leader longa me One green toklen today me support him. He need to improve my border security long scope utung border. It's very, very important that we need to improve our border security in that particular area. Indonesian side, they are well organized. You're processing all the passports through electronic system. I was taking too long and we are still manually filling the visa forms. All it's just electronically done and it's just processed. On the other side, they are prepared to implement support the Connect PNG. They have also established some public transport terminals on the other side, and this is waiting for us to establish on our side, and they can support us to also grow our economy. So we support Dr. Blow, the Mayor of Vanuatu Green, we need to look at the area and establish and improve the security systems at Skowutung border. Thank you, Acting Speaker.
The Honourable Opposition Leader.
Thank you, Deputy Acting Speaker. Sorry. Looks our law. My people of Kiruna good enough. Side Bloom Plateau. First of all, Mr. Acting Speaker, may like talk sorry lo chair. Lo sinaut Bloom Pla come lo you ask it. Me no talk sorry lo Parliament. Me talk sorry lo you. As a chair lo House Bloom. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, grievance Blomi two plataso. Number one, when we supported the bill, this act, Christian. Now, number two, Constitution, na standing orders blame Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, after the time yesterday, when we got the bill from Minister Pilaniningi, we debated, or he presented it and we debated. My question with this regard, Mosem, what is legislative paper? Time you look him. I was expecting, number one, is to find the definition of Christianity. What if something I'm defining Christianity? We must first define the word Christianity before a law by command of legislative Christianity. Committee will set him, let him go out right throughout Papua New Guinea. We'll walk him this survey. The time will come back. I'm not defining this word Christianity. But in Section 45 of our Constitution, it stipulates very, very clear. Very, very clear. Now you may also add him more on top legislative talk Christianity. You must define him. This is talk Christianity inside legislative house. Because you cannot say I'm a Christian because the country is a Christian nation. Yet you must define him inside the Bible. You what this word Christianity mean? Because if there was no Christ who died on the cross of Calvary more than 2,000 years ago, there won't be a word called Christianity. And you and I must define that word. Define this word. Time will go out to walk in survey, Mr. Acting Speaker. Survey, go out and good place survey. That's all. Some of our speakers yesterday and today also, Governor for West New Britain for that matter, spoke about his religion and the principles they believe in. You may call him, a Christian nation, Mr. Speaker. Do we live some principles like what Governor West New Britain has spoken about? Some people blame your leaders inside legislative house. You may call him, Christians. But do we live the principles of Christianity? You can call yourself Christian, but if you don't live the principles of Christianity, it becomes hypocrisy. Now, Governor Governor Western Britain, me sit down here and talk. I remember about 3 years ago when he was still minister, he came back from his country, India, and he presented me a plaque. Now, time me looking.
Honourable Opposition Leader, we have a point of order.
Question on him saying from his country. Governor is from Papua New Guinea. Just that point, can you retract and then he can continue with what he's saying? The good Opposition Leader, thank you.
Your point of order is in order, Honourable Opposition Leader.
Country blame Papua New Guinea. Country where Mama Ikari you. Thank you. Me, I'm also some you 7 people of Papua New Guinea. Now you're a Papua New Guinea. Thank you. Anyway, let me get back to my point. Let me get to my point. Plenty blame me calling me Christian.
That's one of the principles you may believe law. What are the principles we believe in? Also, na minister Mr. question one time you prime minister, na minister responsible for the bill as the correct. Come. Let's define this word Christian. What does it mean? Na minister Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, now the point, Misawe Osam 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock come finish, Mr. Speaker, and I'll be very fast. Let me finish by saying this. As the mipla sana plohi and mipla sina outcome lo yupla. Yupla sina outcome lo yupla. We acted like some blaming me act as some leaders inside legislative house.
Order.
Thank you. Thank you.
The word we is inclusive. The behavior yesterday wasn't we, it was them. So he should say, I, not we.
Honorable Prime Minister, David, Ocean Leader, you may resume your seat.
Mr. Prime Minister,
Honorable Prime Minister, your point of order, I'll rule your point of order out of order. The Speaker have heard from the both sides of the House. So, Honorable Leader for Opposition, I will interrupt you that our grievance debate time has lapsed. I will not allow you, Honorable Leader. Our time of grievance debate has lapsed. Thank you. The question is that the grievance debate be noted. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Leader of Government Business.
Acting Speaker, we thank him. All the members you sit on this week. Members on this side, all members blame law. Opposition side, we collectively talk the issue of the country. Mr. Speaker, I may ask him that you may move him. Agenda in Parliament go Tuesday, 20 February, or 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Ayes have it. Honourable members, I now adjourn Parliament to 10 o'clock next week, Tuesday.